Alrighty guys, Just Unstrategy here. If you are watching this video, the campaign has been over for a while now and I'm just in the process of editing everything to YouTube and getting stuff set up, and I'm probably already balls deep in my next test campaign of Covert Infiltration. Those of you wondering what's going on next, we're doing Covert Infiltration with Project X Advent and a bunch of the Raider faction mods. I'm just going to go ham with the Raider factions again. But the main focus is going to be Covert Infiltration, and that's what the name of the playthrough will be once I eventually get around to it. First, we have a not pre-campaign setup, we have a post-campaign review, I suppose, and then, of course, the class overview. Now, I have used proficiency classes before, however, I have not used the proficiency spark classes before, so things are going to be a little bit different here. So, there are going to be some new stuff, but most of it's going to be pretty, already I talked about this type of stuff. But, on a side note, this is the first time we have the full Gatecrasher squad. Wolf, Keeley, Fives, and Kingpin were our starting Gatecrasher soldiers, and they all survived to the end of the playthrough. Did they all see action? Obviously not. Only Kingpin and Keeley were max rank. Fives was a close behind, and then Wolf kind of lagged behind a little bit because I didn't really use Sappers a whole lot. But overall, the main reason why I did this playthrough, even though I already did a Galaxy at War Advent to Empire thing already, is because my first Advent to Empire mod was back in 2019 when Advent to Empire first came out and it was all still kind of new. Since then, now that it's 2022, Advent Empire had a bit of an overhaul and a redo, whatever you want to call it, and a bunch of things changed. It's a little bit more polished and all that stuff. And I wanted to see for myself, so first campaign back to War of the Chosen after the Spectrum Green playthrough. I thought it would be nice to just knock this one out really quick to before going into some of the hefty campaigns like Covert Infiltration, Long War of the Chosen, and Mod Jam, and all that stuff that will take a longer time to do than a standard War of the Chosen playthrough with no major enemy mods or something like that. Not. I mean, yeah, the enemy changes are significant, but it's not like it's a longer playthrough. It's not like Covert Infiltration where it's a longer playthrough than standard War of the Chosen. So, yeah, I mean, I do like playing with the Clone Trooper cosmetics and the Republic Arrow weapons and all that stuff. Because, for those of you who don't know, I'm a huge Clone Wars fan of the Clone Wars animated TV show. The 7 seasons of that. I have binge watched it multiple times on Disney Plus since its ending with season 7. It's a very emotional kind of show that's definitely not for kids, even though it is advertised as a kids show. It is definitely has its dark moments that I would not recommend kids watching, but yeah, I really like the Clone Wars way better than any of the movies. Alright. All of the movies don't hold a candle to the Clone Wars in my opinion, so that's why I really like doing this Clone Trooper focused playthrough. I don't know if we'll ever do this again though, because there are only so many times I can do a Star Wars themed playthrough without it getting old after a while, because it's pretty much the same thing over and over again. Only with like minimal changes from the first one to this one. But I don't know, there are battle droid cosmetics. I could do like a CIS Rebellion version, but that probably won't be for a while. I think I'm gonna put the Star Wars theme on the back burner, on the back shelf now, a little bit, because the main reason why I don't want to do restrictive campaigns like this is that it restricts the character pool character pool soldiers can't be in. Sure, people can request their own clone troopers, but when everybody looks the same with like a little variation in the armor color or decals, then you don't get as invested into it as, you know, actual individual soldiers do. At least that's what I think is what's going on, and, you know, I don't want to do too many of these in a row or else, you know, people will start losing interest, so just get this one out of the way, move on to a non-restrictive playthrough where I can get back to the standard character pool and all that stuff. But it was still a very enjoyable playthrough, definitely a lot more enjoyable than Spectrum. Obviously, the last few episodes were a little hit and miss, but that's more so because of Twitch errors and not errors of the game. I wasn't fighting Lazarus the whole time, so, you know, that was more so on the side of Twitch and not the side of Xcom, shockingly. So, yeah, it was still a very enjoyable campaign to do, but it's time to move on. But before we do that, we have classes to go over, like I said. So the only thing new is really just going to be the sparks. So if you guys want to skip this video, wait till the network tower and the final thing get uploaded. Totally understand. You can wait till those get uploaded next Xcom 2 upload cycle. But for those of you who are still sticking around, we'll go ahead and get things set up. Okay, first up, Assault Infantry. Rangers in all but name. Also, their QCB dominance here. I don't really use the QCB dominant zone. I know Dureva has talked about this a little bit, where if there's enemies left alive in your QCB zone, then you're kind of doing something wrong anyway. And if they do get into your QCB zone, then, you know, the 15% stat bonuses or whatever isn't really going to save you at the end of the day, because the aim bonus you get from close range point blank attacks will just completely negate the 15% bonus defense you get from QCB dominant. So I never really played my assault infantries to their proficiency perk. I just played it to their rangers. I, for one, really like sword rangers with their sword abilities and stuff. And that's how I played them as. You know, they're a very good class, a very high damage. I remember Keeley completely carrying through the, what's it called, network tower mission. I think he wiped the floor with the first 2 pods basically almost by himself. So that should be a perfect Exhibit A example of the usefulness of assault infantry. But other than that, there's nothing really new to talk about. I don't really have any new breakthroughs or anything like that. No, I skipped... Well, speaking of breakthrough, I skipped breakthrough and took deep reserves. This is basically my go-to assault infantry build. So, yeah, pretty good class. Thumbs up. Alright, so next up we have a combat engineer. This is actually also one of the new classes that I got to use, because I think it was a required mod for one of the Spark mods or something, but I don't know, it feels like they're going, they want to be a technical from a long war. Alright, heavy armaments, blast padding, a blade of shielding, fire and steel, quick burn. I don't know, I never, like, the only higher ranking combat engineer I got ended up getting captured, and we never got a mission to rescue him, so I was a little cucked out of my experience there with them, which I'm kind of disappointed in, because I think I had a different build on the captured combat engineer than I do with this guy. This guy's going like full shooting tree. And I think the other one was, I think, a mix of shooting and technical skills. So I don't really have a lot of experience with this one. But since the proficiency classes is my new personal favorite class mod. Whenever we don't use another class mod, I'm going to use the proficiency classes instead of the vanilla classes because they're just eons better than vanilla classes in every possible way. So hopefully I'll have more opportunities to use them, but right now I just did not get enough action with them to really make an opinion. So hopefully next time, combat engineers, hopefully next time. Okay, so now we have the Dark Xcom classes here, which are captured Mocx operatives with the Proficiency Mocx class mod for the Proficiency classes. So first we have the Proficiency Rangers. I really wish that you could... I need to capture Mocx operatives more early on in the campaign, because if I get them late in the campaign, they only start at Sergeant. I already have a bunch of max level soldiers by like the late mid game to early late game. That's the fact that I don't use them. Like, I tried to use them. I mean, they still got QCB dominance, so I kind of just built them as my usual assault infantry. So, and these guys were being built as my typical tech specialist, but I didn't even use tech specialists that much in the game to begin with. Hopefully next time I do a proficiency class playthrough, I'll be able to capture Mocx operatives a little more early on in the campaign and maybe do something like that and just have a little bit more experience with them, because there's a whole other slew of classes to try with the proficiency Mocx operatives. But I don't know, kind of like the combat engineer, I can't really say something like it. Obviously they're supposed to mimic the XCOM proficiency classes, but in like with a little twist to them. So hopefully next time, but obviously they're not supposed to be permanent classes. So they're meant to be like the oddball classes that are, I guess, kind of rare to get depending on how you capture them. But I don't know, hopefully next time, I guess. It's a lot of hopefully next time here, but hopefully next time, regardless. Alright, field medics, as you all know, my playstyle is super reckless, and I get myself into trouble a lot, so I need medics on my team, I need med kits on my team, and field medics is... I always try to have a field medic on every single mission. Like, I don't know if you guys noticed that trend this campaign, but I tried to have a field medic on almost every single mission we did this campaign, because even if they don't medic a lot, because even if we don't get hit a lot and they don't, you know, use their medical abilities a lot, there's still an extra gun on the field. They're not completely useless without their med kits. Like, you know, burst fire is a perfect example of that. I know I used burst fire a lot in the last few missions, especially on Leviathan, so they definitely came in clutch. The arc thrower is also a good utility, right? You can't guarantee something will die, just stun it. Don't have to deal with it, don't have to kill it that turn. And then you can focus all of your efforts on killing it next turn. Although it did help a lot more in this playthrough, considering the fact that a lot of the alien and robotic units that are normally immune to stun were no longer immune to stun, because they were now like humanoid, imperial human forms of their alien counterparts. So they probably got a little bit more of an advantage in this playthrough. Probably if I do proficiency classes again, it won't be a Star Wars themed playthrough, so maybe they'll have a little bit less use, but they're still a good utility and they can still hold their own even if they're not using their medical abilities. So they are definitely my #1 most used class. Probably not my favorite class, but #1 most used, definitely. So thumbs up, good class. Well, I used to have 2 Marines, but one of them died. But Marines definitely feel like a cross between a gunner and a ranger from Long War. But they have a lot of high damaging skills. I did have a Marine that died in one of the, I think, late mid-game, early late-game missions. But yeah, most of them end up going down this type of build with a lot of shooty stuff. I think the other one was a suppression build. They were I'm probably bullshitting myself, and they were both shooting builds. But yeah, especially once they get light 'em up, they definitely become they are really strong. And I wish the other one lived. I think they were the bondmate to Kingpin, so he probably would have gone on to Leviathan if they would have lived. But unfortunately, they didn't. But still, good class. Definitely one of my top 3. So thumbs up. Okay, we had quite a few marksmen this campaign, actually. Holy crap. But marksmen are obviously a very strong, powerful class. You know, yeah, it's Psi Overhaul V3, and we got this guy with like 1,000,000 psionic abilities and a dozen super strong shooting abilities. Most of them ended up going down the sniper tree. I think I don't know if I even have one on the scout tree, but a lot of them did end up going down this basic sniper tree, especially once we got the chosen hunter weapon. They really stood out with that type of stuff, but they don't hold a candle to the spark artillery. But I mean, yeah, they're definitely a very strong class. I don't normally utilize sniper classes as much as I really should, but they're still a pretty strong class, and I'm glad they're around. Thumbs up. Actually, before we do switch, it does look like all of them are just going down a shooty build. So, yeah, they all went down that build. But still, thumbs up. Good class. Alright, Reapers. Well, Reapers definitely feel a lot similar to their vanilla counterparts, except for the fact that they don't really utilize their claymore a whole lot. I normally just give them a pistol. I mean, I definitely were underutilizing the pistol abilities like Dietrich's keeps nagging me on. But once I got the Dark Claw, I definitely was a little bit more open to using pistol abilities, but I still really just kept using, you know, Silent Killer and Shadow Lance, just pew-pew things. However, one thing I will say is that I really do like the Shadow Stack system, and having Silent Killer consume Shadow Stacks instead of just constantly getting kills and constantly just not doing anything like that. You do have to pay attention a little bit, but it's more than just a point-and-click adventure game, and most of the time I just use them to finish off like the last enemy alive in a pod. It's like, hey, you have Silent Killer, kill that thing and continue scouting or something. So it's just nice to have, you know? But yeah, the Reaper's a lot of fun to play as. Thumbs up. Good class. Man, I feel like I underutilize Sappers a lot. I did not use Sappers as much as I did. I used them a lot in the early game because they're good early game guaranteed damage, but as soon as the mid to late game rolls out and enemies start getting more health and more armor, they just lose their merit a little bit. Also, when I got Burnout, and Burnout almost like just completely, it just, instead of panicking the enemies, it just made them stand there and have offensive actions on their scatter move during that one tunnels mission, and I think after that I just threw them out the window like, fuck you, you suck. And I didn't really use them a lot after that, so I mean, meh class? No thumbs up, no thumbs down, thumb sideways meh class? Definitely this campaign. They were a meh class this campaign. I don't know what I said about them during the first proficiency class playthrough, but meh class this campaign. Could have performed a lot better. Though well. Good. Skirmishers! I think I mentioned this before Operation Leviathan started, or after Operation Leviathan, when we were looking at the kill counters and saw that Kingpin had the most amount of kills. Now, Kingpin's at the top of the leaderboard for kills this playthrough, but considering that we started with a Skirmisher this playthrough, and they're also my favorite hero faction out of all 3 of them, you can definitely see why they got most kills. They're really fun to play as. Grappling, whiplash, all that stuff, lightning reflexes, shooting twice in a turn. They're just a really fun class, and nothing really changed from vanilla to proficiency. They do have a heat mechanic, but 90% of the time I don't notice the heat mechanic anyway, and I just play them how I would play a vanilla skirmisher, so... That's not a bad thing, though. Still, like, definitely my #1 favorite class in the game, in War of the Chosen, is the skirmisher. So, golden star, golden thumbs up, golden kappa, very good class. What is there to say about the spark artillery? It's so fucking dumb, especially that cannon, man. Julian carried us throughout the entire Golden Path storyline, including Leviathan. If I ever use proficiency sparks again, you know I'm getting the chosen spark weapons. Oh my god, maybe I'll kill the hunter first just to get that as early as I can. Oh my god, dude. And he got the second most kills of the campaign. And he got like 15 or 20 on Leviathan alone, so maybe he actually surpassed Kingpin in kills. But we don't get to see that because obviously I can't reload the save after we do Leviathan, so I can't see for sure, but oh my god, man, this is just absolute golden, triple golden star, all the golden kappas you can throw at it. Oh my god, man, that's just so dumb. So dumb and beautiful at the same time. Oh man. I also really underutilized tech specialists. I don't think if I don't know if one or two of our tech specialists died this playthrough, and that's why we only have one actually trained tech specialist. But even with Hack Plus, which should give me God mode hacking ability so I can just hack sectopods and anything that looks at me wrong, but I just did not use them a whole lot. Like, not even on hacking missions. I just did not care about them. It's like they were there for the beginning of the campaign, then just disappeared. It's like the scrappers. I don't know, man. Or the sappers, whatever they're called. I just fucking... mad class to this campaign. A little underperforming, I guess. I don't know what to say. Last but not least, the Templars. Psi Overhaul V3 definitely improved the Templars a little bit more, giving them more abilities like fuse and stasis and all that stuff. So definitely helped them out a little bit, and I think the Proficiency Templar is my favorite version of the Templar. They're better than vanilla Templars, and I think they're better than Long War Templars as well, with like that weird shield nonsense, tank Templar nonsense. I don't know what that is all about, but yeah, they're probably my second favorite hero class. So yeah, thumbs up. Thumbs up, good class. Alrighty, and there you have it. That's everything done. All the classes we talked about. So, there you go. That's, less than 30 minutes, actually. I'm surprised, but, like I said, I got a new campaign to set up. So, I'd like to hear your opinions about the classes in the comments below. If you guys, feel free to share. If not, I'll see you guys on the Network Tower and Leviathan. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.